Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nintendo and a ROM hack for Super Mario Bros. On the NES. And it seems as if Nintendo is not happy at all with this ROM hack titled Mario and Friends. Now, I'm going to have to go back and check, but I'm pretty certain we've talked about this one in the past. At the very least here, it's a ROM hack for Super Mario Bros. On the NES. It released this year. And the modification brings a character selection screen in the style of Super Mario Bros. 2, allowing you to choose between Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach, each with their own physics. Now, it appears that Nintendo is not necessarily happy with this ROM hack, and I'm saying appears here because of one big reason. There's a lot of gray area. It's a very weird situation, a very interesting situation, because the ROM hack requires the base game in order to work. It basically patches the base game. And Kando on Twitter says, well, that's a new one. Romhacking.net just took down a buddy of mine's ROM hack from over a year ago because of a takedown request from Nintendo. No other evidence of said takedown was shared. And here is the email. Unfortunately, there is no copy of the takedown request or anything like that. This is literally all we've got right now, and this is from Romhacking.net staff. This is a notification that we have received a takedown request from Nintendo for your hack Mario and Friends. As a result, this hack will be removed. Please do not try to add it back. Now, a couple of things here. One, I checked romhacking.net and Mario and Friends was taken down. And number two, Kando said that the ROM hack came out over a year ago, and I thought it came out this year. I might have mistook it for Mario and Friends Respirited, which was released this year. Anyways here, Mario and Friends Respirited is still up on romhacking.net and does pretty much the exact same thing. So the developer behind Mario and Friends Respirited says they improve on Mario and Friends. And this ROM hack has been out for, well, a couple of months now. I guess Toad sprites are more accurate and move better in terms of animation. Luigi's sprites have been replaced with ones modified from Rather Noise Sprites sprite sheet. Peach's sprites have been replaced with ones modified from Zugarix's sprite sheet. And on a quick side note here, before anyone roasts me in the comments, I've been calling this one Mario and Friends Respirited, and I meant to be calling it Resprited. That is my bad. Anyways, here it's Mario and Friends Resprited, and it appears to be available in a bunch of different places, including RomHack Plaza. So unfortunately, I've got no idea if Mario and Friends Resprited is going to share a similar fate or what's going to happen here. If you're interested and wanted to learn more about the ROM hack, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Next up, we're switching from ROM hacking and Nintendo to emulation and PlayStation and talking about PS2 emulation on Android with ARMSX2. Now, in yesterday's video, we talked about a very interesting interview with the developers of Eden, the Switch emulator, from Gardner Bryant. And anyways here, the developers of ARMSX2 have been interviewed, and the interview is up on the memory core. The interview is with the two co-founders of ARMSX2, and if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, again, like everything we talk about, links are within that GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I think this is a worthwhile read. On top of that, by the end of the month, I believe, is the timeline for the release of ARMSX2, and ARMSX2 also releasing on the Google Play Store. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Unfortunately, at the time of filming, I don't have any further announcements for ARMSX2. And speaking about announcements and still talking about PlayStation emulation, just going back one generation and talking about PS1 emulation and Destruction Derby 2 and RetroAchievements. If you're a fan of RetroAchievements and you're a fan of PlayStation stuff, you might be excited about this one. Anyways, this is the latest and greatest from RetroAchievements. Race on 7 incredible tracks, plus 4 brand new Total Destruction Bowls, and trash your opponent with spectacular smashes into flaming wrecks. You can now play Destruction Derby 2 for the PlayStation with achievements over at RetroAchievements. And they say here there's 36 achievements worth 357 points. Next up here, we're talking about Bazzite and Joy's Handhelds and the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. Now, we've talked about this handheld quite a bit in the past. We talked about it in yesterday's video. I've talked about it in a few more than that. It is currently powering this YouTube video. It's currently powering a bunch of them. I'm using this as a frickin' PC, and it's doing extremely well. For those who may be unaware, this channel is currently powered by a Steam Deck where I do a lot of video editing and recording. This thing now, the Xbox Ally X, and also my Android phone. I'm currently not using any laptop or PC or anything like that to record, edit, or post my videos. This thing kind of is a PC though. But anyways, this is not about that. This is about the performance of this and claims that Bazzite was way better than Windows. Now, for the record, I have not put Bazzite on my Ally X just yet. I will be in the future. That is on my to-do list. I'm very excited about it. I just haven't had time just yet. Anyways, taking a look here, there are some videos out there showcasing Bazzite running very well on the Ally X. In fact, almost everything works except for the LEDs, which is completely understandable. However, I haven't seen a whole lot of official benchmarks just yet, but we have seen some early comparisons here and also some headlines like this. We talked about this one specifically in yesterday's video. ROG Xbox Ally runs better on Linux than the Windows it ships with. New test shows up to 32% higher FPS with more stable frame rates and quicker sleep resume times. And I've also seen articles like this one. ROG Xbox Ally X sees significant performance improvements running games in Bazzite OS. And this article has a table here comparing the frame rates between the two, and there's a significant difference in certain situations. And all of this information seems to be referencing Cyberdopamine's video here on Bazzite on the Xbox Ally. Now, it is worth noting here, Cyberdopamine does say in his video that he's not a benchmarking expert, and I think that is worth calling out. And Joey from Joey's Retro Handhelds did notice something pretty big with these performance numbers. So Joey has a new video here that I would recommend checking out, and it's titled, "No, Linux is not 32% better than Windows on the Xbox Ally." Joey's got a very keen eye. Maybe I need glasses too. Just taking a look here, Joey spotted something between Cyberdopamine's comparison between Bazzite and Windows and wattage. So Joey put up a pretty awesome side-by-side. And we can see that with Windows, it's using 17 watts, and on Bazzite, it's using 20 watts. That is a huge difference. An extra 3 watts can equal additional performance. So it's not necessarily a like-for-like comparison. So first and foremost here, huge shout-outs to Joey for actually noticing this. I'm kind of surprised those news outlets didn't notice this at all, but I mean, at the same time, I didn't really notice. And I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a knock against Cyberdopamine. In his video, he says he's not an expert at this stuff, and this is what he noticed. And I would say this is a minor oversight or a minor mistake. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm guessing that Joey may be entertaining doing a video between performance comparisons of Bazzite and Windows. I would be very interested in seeing that. I'm interested if other people do it as well. I'm probably going to do it myself. But at the same time here, if you haven't checked out Joey's Retro Handhelds, I do recommend checking out this channel. I had the pleasure of meeting Joey in person, and he's a nice dude. I've also met TechDweeb in person as well, another super nice dude. And on a quick side note here, if you are interested in Ally X performance, ETA Prime just dropped a brand new video cranking this thing up to 45 watts while docked. And speaking about Linux stuff, next up we're talking about Proton, and Proton Experimental just got a brand new update to make even more games playable, and also fixed a bunch of stuff. So first and foremost here, under Now Playable, the new games are Quantum Threshold, Reach, Fellowship, Aquarium, Ring Runner, Flight of the Sages, and whatever that one is. On top of that, and this one's pretty big too, they have fixed haptic support for DualSense controllers, which should now work in most games that support it. They've improved support for Sony controllers in Tekken 8. They fixed Marvel Rivals crashing and benchmark with AMD GPUs. They fixed Assassin's Creed Shadows and Wild Assault, incorrectly warning about being installed on an HDD, and even more. Next up here, we're talking about Qualcomm and Snapdragon and confusing naming conventions and also performance. So Qualcomm has just unveiled the Snapdragon 6S Gen 4. This is a mobile chip. It is a mid-range chip, and the performance on this, at least on paper, is astonishing when compared to Gen 3. So taking a look at what they're saying are the benefits here under astonishing performance, experience seamless and responsive mobile experiences thanks to the 36% improved CPU and 59% better GPU. Those are huge numbers, especially for the GPU. And also it supports ultra smooth 144 FPS at FHD+. Now I'm very curious to see if those numbers on paper hold up to real world testing, because there are some things to factor in. Driver compatibility and also cooling and all of that stuff. There's a lot of different things that can affect performance, even wattage that the phone is, or whatever mobile device is using the chip. So taking a look here, at least on paper, this chip looks very promising for mid-range phones. And speaking about very promising, next up here, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Azuhar. And Pablo MK7, one of the main people behind Azuhar, has teased this on Twitter. Very interesting 3DS stuff is soon being published. However, the screen is blurred. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and what do you think it could be? We're going to have to wait and see on this one. I may have a hunch and may have some insight as to what exactly it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. And there is some more information here, and some more information will be unveiled, or all of the information will be unveiled on Saturday, October 25th at 1 p.m. ET. On a very specific YouTube video, not mine, but I'll drop a link to it in the GitHub link in the description below. And speaking about upcoming stuff, last up here, we're talking about Halo and Halo Campaign Evolved, not Halo Combat Evolved. Halo Campaign Evolved was unveiled yesterday. It was the kind of the worst kept secret. A lot of us knew about it already. We talked about it in previous videos. There were leaks surrounding it. And now it's official. Halo Campaign Evolved is arriving in 2026. So there are a few things worth noting. First and foremost, this is a full remake and not a remaster. It's heading to Xbox Series X and S, no surprise there. Xbox on PC, no surprise there. Steam, no surprise there. And PlayStation 5. And I think a lot of people on PlayStation are going to be excited to get Halo on PlayStation. Furthermore, they say here this fully rebuilt campaign will introduce remastered 4K visuals, beloved Halo weapons and vehicles, plus brand new story content. And I am very curious to see what the new story content is. If you are curious about this one, there's a couple of trailers that you can check out here. One is 1 minute and 35 seconds long, and the other one's a whopping 13 minutes long, showcasing 13 minutes of gameplay. Now, there are a couple of things I wanted to point out. One, I think it looks gorgeous, but two, I also think the original has some benefits over this one. So Jeff Keighley on Twitter has a couple of tweets out there promoting this new version of the game, and he's got a side-by-side comparison, and I think unintentionally highlighted something I think is worth pointing out. But who knows here? Maybe I'm off base with this. Maybe I'm out in left field and I've got the hot take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But here is the before. This is Halo Combat Evolved. And here is the after. And the HUD, I think, in the before is much cleaner, easier to see, and better. But I could be wrong with that one. I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts. Now, as for me, if I'm looking forward to this one, I would say yes and no. Yes, because I do think it looks good, but no, because at the same time, I'm a huge fan of Halo Combat Evolved. And while this one does kind of bring a lot of cool stuff to it, at the same time, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the original game, and I don't necessarily need updated graphics to make me want to replay the game. I can just replay the game as it is on its own. I don't know here. Maybe again, I'm off base, but let me know your thoughts and if you're excited or not for this game. And last up here, if you're a fan of Joy-Cons and Joy-Con calibration, you might be excited about this. DriftGuard has just released. And listen to this announcement. Joy-Con calibration on PC is now a reality. World premiere of DriftGuard, free online tool that enables precise calibration, performance verification, and testing of your Nintendo Switch controllers. Now, heading on over to their website, and they do say it's an alpha build and use at your own risk. This website is an alpha, and some features may not work or may behave unexpectedly. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. You saw a lot of the legendary One Fluff yesterday, and today she is sleeping in the window. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.